everyone, and welcome back to Crafting with a View. So today's card tutorial will be about this card, and as a little surprise, so we have a bookmark, and I showed you in last week's video how I made the embossing with the different colors. So if you missed on that one, I will link it down below so you can check it out. So this is a little bookmark and a little bit of an Easter card. So we're using the stem set I Am the Way, and it's D2146. It comes with these 3 stems. Let me pull them out. And when I saw this one, I don't know, this one for me, number one was for a slim card. And then when I looked at my slim card and I was thinking about how to incorporate it, I thought, you know what, this actually makes a great bookmark too. So there was the idea born to use this not only for the card, but also as a bookmark. And then for the inside, I actually use this stem. And this is the inside of the card. And I will show you how this all goes together. So if you're subscribed to the card making projects every month, you got this one in the mail. And naturally, while we were doing a couple things in class that you will not be able because you don't have the material, I already have them prepped for you. So if you got the set, you should have the sponging around the edges, the sponging on the bookmark. All this should be done for you already ahead of time. But let's get to it. Let's take everything out. And we start by moving things around. So you see your card is stamped on the inside. The outside is, in your case, already sponged. And I sponged it with our Wisteria ink. And you can use a regular sponge, a sponge dauber. I use those brushes. And Close to My Heart has them in the catalog now, but I bought those before I had ours from Close to My Heart. And these are just nice because they give a really fine, you know, sponge effect on everything, and they're really easy to handle. So I used an old template that I have, so don't ask me where I got this from. It's not a Close to My Heart one, but whatever you have that might be a small design will work. So when I designed the card, I first was looking at, let me show you. I had the idea with, you know, the bookmark, and then I thought, well, we can put this on, and I put my bottom part on here to hold the bookmark in place. And I'm like, well, that's all kind of cute, but something was missing. And it was just not what it, you know, I don't know, just something was missing. And I didn't really want to put just cardstock behind it or a whole sheet of other design paper. So I thought, you know what, we haven't done sponging in a while, let's do some sponging. So what I did was I just took my my template, I laid it down, and let me get my handy dandy sponge. I just put this underneath so I don't mess up the rest of my surface. So I just lined this up, and then with the brush I just went around the edges here. I didn't care about the middle, just around the edges, about an inch or so. And then I kind of lined it up a little bit and then did the lower part. And we will do this together for the bookmark. And that leaves me a nice frame all the way around. So when we adhere our main paper in a few minutes, you know, you still have a nice background. Subtle, but nice. So let's start with the bookmark. So the bookmark, like I said in the video down below, you can see how I embossed it, stamped it and embossed it in different colors. And I thought, you know, this is pretty as it is, but I like to put a little bit extra behind it. So I used this template again, and I put it down just as an angle like this. And I used our Wisteria ink because this is Wisteria paper, and it's the lighter side of the paper. So as you can see here, there's a darker and a lighter side. I used the lighter side. And all you have to do is to make sure that you hold this in place. So I'm gonna start with this side and then move over. And I like to just go over the ink pad a little bit, and it's got quite a bit of ink on there, so it might not show a lot, but if you go over and over again, you will see how much more it adds to the card. So when I start from the outside going into the project, and I'm just going over the edge down here, so I'm coming always from the inside, from the outside in. That way, if there's really a lot of ink on there, and you see how I just move my fingers a little bit, I just keep the whole thing in place with one hand, that's fine. So I don't want it too much up there, so I might go back here. And if you're not sure how much you already have under, you can always peek under, so this needs a little bit more. Okay, let's put a little bit more ink here. And I like it more on the outside. Doesn't need to be a lot on the inside, because we have the embossed image there as well. Give it another peek. That's looking good. Now a little bit more here, because you hardly can see that area. And I don't know if it shows up on camera, but I will show you in a second. Sometimes it's misleading, because you're looking at it and you think like you have no ink on there, but when you lift this up, you can actually tell, oh yeah, there's ink on here. All right, I think we're good. Let's remove it. And there you have it. So you can see, even so, you know, it didn't look much from far above, but how I have the sponging here, I left it out a little bit in the middle, which is fine. So we go with that one. So Wisteria ink matching the color of our cardstock. And then all to clean this is to wipe it down a little bit. Let me get my old rag here. And I just use my wet stamp cleaner, the chamois, and just wipe it down, and you're good to go. If you have a lot of ink, just hold it under warm water. All right, so let's finish this one up. So if you want to, you can put some personal notes in the back, put a piece of paper and write something extra on there, put a picture on there. And then if you like, you can actually take this. If you don't have your own laminating machine at home, I know UPS does laminating. There might be other places too where you can just get it laminated. You just have to repunch the hole up here. And that way it is waterproof, and you can just clean it off if it gets dirty. It doesn't bend. All right, now the ribbon I just pulled through, and then I took my green one and I literally just did 2 knots on here, not too tight down here, so there's a little bit room to wiggle. And the reason why you want to do this after the laminating is so the lamination can go all the way to the top, and that way you know it fits. So let's just give this all a nice clean cut here. There we go. And our bookmark is done. So we can put this aside and now concentrate on the main card. So our main card, make sure you have it the right way. And then we're gonna add the paper to it. And I just use liquid adhesive in this case. Just a little bit around the edges. That way I can move it around a little bit. And it's like 1/4 inch on either side. That looks good to me. We keep this in place here. Then we take our end here, and as you can see, it's almost to the bottom here. And what I did was I just put adhesive on the sides and on the bottom here. So nothing on top, so we have a little pocket. So let's do that. And you can use tape, whatever you have. It doesn't need to be a strong hold. And this bracket here should fit from side to side. So if you line your sides up with your card base, it should be fine. And then, like I said, there's a little bit showing on the bottom here. And that's all good. Now we put some foam dots. So this one is raised. So we put a couple foam dots on here. And I put this one. Yeah. So I want to drape my flowers underneath here. So I'm moving my foam a little bit more towards the inside here, not to the edge. So I get my flowers tucked underneath in a second. That should be fine. Remove the backing of those little guys. I don't know how many times you put it down and then all of a sudden you pick your card up and the whole thing comes down. And you go like, why isn't it not sticking to my card? Oh, forgot to take the back side here off. Sometimes it comes in handy if you still later have to tuck something underneath. Okay, so this one goes here in the center, about here. And then we have our flowers. So there's one extra flower for the inside. And what I did with my flowers, I just kind of bent them up a little bit with my fingers. And yes, they don't stay that way, but it gives them a little bit, dimension. Plus, you can use the lighter side. You can use either side. Okay. And number 3. Little crunchy ball, and then I just went with my nail and pinched each petal just a little bit in the center. And like I said, they might not all stay that way, but the majority will stay a little bit because the way we're gonna tuck them in. Okay, one more. And like I said, there's no right or wrong way. You don't have to do this, or if you have a one of these styluses with a big ball on the bottom to use to give it a little bit shape, that's fine too. All right, so this is why I put my foam adhesive a little bit further in, so I can tuck my flowers underneath here, because they can't really stand out further to the side, otherwise my card doesn't fit in the envelope. So this is about where this one goes. Let's put some adhesive on the back here and then tuck it underneath again. Make sure, there we go. And then we take the other one, do the same thing. Tuck it underneath here. And this can stick out a little bit further if you want to, because this is to the bottom of the card. So, all right, and then one goes on top, right here on top of the phrase we stamped. And then I have one for the inside, and I do bend this one too a little bit, even so this one will be flat. And if you notice, when I adhere them, I only put a little bit of adhesive in the center of that flower, of the back side, because that way those petals can stand up as much as possible. Even so, we close the card later, but it just gives it a little bit more definition. So I just gonna do this here, couple seconds, And we're good to go. So now all that is left, we have to put in our little pearls. And I will use my little plastic tool here. There's adhesive on the back of these. Just try not to touch the adhesive, because once your fingers release some of their oils to the adhesive, it might not stay. Then you have to add some adhesive underneath, which is not a big deal. So I just do the big one right there, the medium size. I'm gonna tuck in here. Little one I have in this flower, but you can put them any way you want. I just figure since the bigger ones are a little bit more bulky, but we have raised this part so they're kind of like even when they're in the envelope, so that might help. You might still need extra, you know, those couple cents extra postage because they can't go through the machine, but otherwise that card, those Slimline cards, are the same price as your regular quarter cards. Just because they have a different dimension, you know, they're longer and smaller width-wise, they're still the same price. It's pretty much like the bills you get, same thing. All right, and then I just drew with my pencil a little vein here in the center of these flowers. You can do some circles around it if you want to. You can do this ahead before you adhere them, but I did mine later. And then for the inside, I just did a couple swirlies, so with a pencil. And the nice thing about the pencil, if you don't like it, you just erase it and start over. Just make sure you don't push too hard when you draw it. But other than that, that's always a perfect thing to try. And then I did little circles here. And I did a few extras in here. You can do a little swirl, dots, whatever you want to do. All right. And then you can tuck your bookmark right in front here. And we call this card done. I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough and the idea with the bookmark, and I hope you give it a try. Measurements for these cards, if you want them, let me know. Just to give you an idea about the bookmark, the bookmark is cut at 2.5 by 7 inches. And then I just rounded corners and poked a hole on top. All right, well, thanks for watching. Have a great day. See you back next Wednesday for another card tutorial. And like I said, link below for the multicolor embossing video from last week. See you later. Bye-bye.